Welcome to the fourth episode of the Moment After podcast. We're going to be having a non-spoiler discussion of Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. Ol Parker comes on to take over directing from Felita Lloyd, and it stars Lily James as a young Donna, Amanda Seyfried is back as Sophie, Pierce Brosnan, Stellan Skarsgård, Yzma, or Christine Baranski. If you don't understand that, listen to the latest episode of the Nocturnal Disney podcast. Colin Firth, Julie Walters, and one of the ads, aside from all of the young characters, is Cher. I love musicals. Little Shop of Horrors, Sweeney Todd, Wicked, Hamilton, School of Rock, Phantom of the Opera, La La Land. There are very few musicals I genuinely don't like. I grew up on Disney movies like Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Lion King, so now as an adult, I love the thought of someone telling me a story through music. Now, I'm going to read you something. A stage or film musical that uses previously released popular songs as its musical score. Usually, the songs have in common a connection with a particular popular musician or group. That's the definition of a jukebox musical. Now, these musicals, I do not like. I think they're lazy. The writers are given a group of songs and someone says, okay, now make these flow together in a narrative. To me, these musicals are like Frankenstein's monster, you know what I'm saying? You have all these different parts and you do your best and try to combine them into one thing. And that's what I don't like about Mamma Mia. The story is crushed around these songs and the songs kind of fit in with the story. Since these songs weren't written to be put together, the feeling in the songs are way off sometimes. And I don't mean like in the sense of, oh, they were acted poorly, because the acting was fine, really. It was actually pretty good. But if you listen to the lyrics and then think about the situation that's happening, the words are way too much for the situation. Then again, that's just one of the risks you run when you're making a jukebox musical. Some of the choices and how to perform the songs, like as a duet or a solo, those were odd, right? There is one scene in particular that would have benefited from making it a solo, and it would have been phenomenal. It would have been a very good song for this one particular character. But instead, you have two characters singing it who are part of the same situation, and it just doesn't work. Because the feelings and the emotion for the one character make complete and total sense. And then the feelings for the other character, you're like, no. You don't get to feel that right now. Like, that's just not correct. Like I said, Pierce Brosnan is in this movie, but there's no need to fear. Because whenever he opens his mouth to sing, they either mix him so low that you cannot hear him, or it's in such short bursts that it could be almost considered like a musical drive-by. The only time he actually sings in the movie, he's doing that trick where you sing low and under your breath so you can hit all the notes because you're not really hitting any of the notes. He does that. And may I just take this moment to say, Ol Parker, thank you. Thank you so much for that. The plot of this movie is 5 years after the events of Mamma Mia, Sophie learns about her mother's past while pregnant herself. Remember that ... song at the beginning of the first one? This movie is basically what happened during those journal entries. It's interesting enough. It's much better than the first one, by far. I like Amanda Seyfried in the first one, but that's about it. Right off the bat, the singers in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, when compared to the first one, are way better. By leaps and bounds, they are better. Amanda Seyfried, I think she can actually sing. I think she's good. So her part as Sophie in the first one, and now in this one, they're really quite good. Lily James was in the remake of Cinderella as Cinderella, and she's great there, and she's good here. A good actor's going to elevate their movie, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what she does. Because I remember watching the first movie thinking, Donna and the Dynamos can only be like a bedroom band, where nobody knows what they're doing. You see them walk down for breakfast or lunch in their costumes, but you never see them perform. It's a little weird. And the reason I thought that was because of how bad Meryl Streep was as a singer. But then when you hear Lily James singing in this one, you're like, yeah, I get it. That makes sense to me. The best part of this movie, though, was the humor. The jokes that they had in this movie were really funny. Colin Firth has a couple of lines that are just hysterical. And there's this character put in strictly for comic relief, and he is the best comic relief character that I remember in a long time. I'm not counting like Edna Mode or anything like that, but just this guy is hysterical. He gets in, he gets out, makes his jokes, and it's all biting commentary on how the characters look now as compared to their younger selves. And since he's the security guard at the dock that leads to Kayla Carey, all of the characters get to interact with him. He's the best. He made the movie for me. Aside from my hatred for jukebox musicals, there's nothing inherently wrong with the movie. The acting's fine, the story's at least passable, and don't get me wrong, it's not going to be any movie that I remember. It's okay, it's forgettable. The actors that they got to play the younger versions of Donna, her lovers, and her friends, they were spot on. Last week I was talking about how good the effects on Michael Douglas looked in Ant-Man, and if you told me that Universal put Christine Baranski and Julie Walters through the same process, I would have believed you there for a minute. When I told Jamie that I was going to go see this movie with her and a group of women, she was surprised. So was everybody else. And I thought, if nothing else, I'll be able to blast this movie for being terrible. But I can't. It's not great, but it's also not horrible. I'll give Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again a 5.5 out of 10. It didn't disgust me. It didn't bore me to tears. There were some strange things happening in the story, but that was more because of the songs, and again, that speaks to it being a jukebox musical. I'll never watch it again, but what about you? What did you think of it? Let me know in the comments down below. You can find me at nocturnaldisney@gmail.com. You can find me on Twitter at DisneyNocturnal and on Instagram at the Nocturnal Disney Podcast, all separated by underscores. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, go watch some movies. Good night.